Today I want to demonstrate how to navigate through the various menus with the new firmware update for the F-750. We'll start by powering the instrument on by clicking the power button. Once it has started up, we will view the main menu by clicking the right arrow, and then we'll be given the option to either load an application or set up the device. I'm going to load an application, and I'm going to go down to the new Avocado app. You'll notice there's a lot of changes to the new home screen for the Avocado application. Mostly you'll see that there is a bin number. That is a grouping of fruit. We just use the bin designation. And then it says empty underneath, which is where a value will typically be displayed for an average dry matter. And then on the bottom left are various boxes which represent individual fruit. There are a lot of new elements on this display, and all of them are fully customizable by the user, as we'll see later on. So to advance further in the menu screens, we're going to click the right arrow, and from there what we'll see is that there are three different options. We have measurement options, browse measurements, and device setup. So we're going to click measurement options, and we have multiple different things that we can do here, but what I want to show you is the bin options. And this is where you can edit things like the number of fruit per bin, the fruit variance warning threshold, which you can change here, the sides per fruit. So we're going to change the fruit variance threshold to 1% standard deviation. We can change the number of sides per fruit that we're scanning. We're going to make that 2 sides per fruit. And you can also change the number of fruit per bin, which is set at 5 right now. We'll leave it there. And then you can also change the side variance threshold. So we'll change that down to 1. Also the minimum measurements per side, which is set at 5, and then the maximum. We also have the auto repeat side measurements. This is a cool new feature which will allow the instrument to automatically take replicate scans of a single side of the fruit. And so we're going to enable that. We also have an advanced options menu. Here you can change things like the scans to average for the sample and the reference. You can edit the text file that is actually created with all of your data. You can upload to a data server by inputting the IP address there. You can also adjust the bias for the various models. So for the dry matter model, you can change the intercept by clicking the right arrow on the intercept, and then we can also change the slope if need be. There is also an option to load all the defaults if you want to change everything and reset. The notes section is where all the notes for the app are displayed, so any information that you write within the app will be displayed on this screen. So navigating back to this menu, you can see that there's a browse measurements option, but we need to take some measurements first to actually browse. So let's go ahead and click the measure button. And remember, we have it set to the auto measurement where it's going to take 3 scans at a minimum in a row. As long as those 3 scans fit our side variance threshold, which we set to 1% standard deviation, then those 3 scans will be enough for that side. If it needed to take more scans, we set the maximum at 5. So it could take up to 5 scans if it needed to in order to meet that variance threshold. And so now that the dorsal side is complete, you can see the average dry matter for the side is displayed, as well as the standard deviation. The 3 boxes on the top are filled, which each represent a scan from that side. If there were 5 scans that needed to be made, there would be 2 additional boxes filled in. You also see that there is a ventral side and a fruit, 1 of 5 displayed, and those each will show data as it's collected. So clicking the measurement button again, we are now going to be measuring the ventral side. So as it takes its automatic scans, we'll be able to see live the update for each scan's value on the left hand side, and we'll be able to see the updated average dry matter value as well as the standard deviation on the right hand side. And so now fruit 1 is complete. You can see the full 3 boxes for both the dorsal and the ventral side, and the fruit 1 box is completely filled in. It gives you an average for that fruit, and a standard deviation. So now if I want to browse through measurements, I can do it in the same way that the old 750 worked, where you can browse through the various bins, and then you can go further into the organizational structure by looking at the fruit. So I'm looking at fruit 1. You can go even further by clicking the right arrow into the various sides. You can see each of the averages and the standard deviations for the sides. And then you can go and view each individual scan for each side as well. Navigating back with the left arrow, we can go back to this main menu. And then clicking left again will take you back to the home screen of the app. And if I wanted to remove data, I simply click the left arrow and it removes that side. So if I had a bad measurement or something went wrong, I could easily delete those and rescan. Clicking the right arrow brings you back to the menu. And under the device setup, there's a lot of options here for things like adjusting the GPS, connecting to a wireless network, adjusting the date and time, or doing a factory setup. And that's the new F-750 Produce Quality Meter user interface for the new avocado application. Thank you for joining us, and if you need more information, you can visit our website at www.felixinstruments.com.